Alrighty, hi soul family. Today I kind of just wanted to talk about my story and what I've been dealing with these last few days, this last year, this in general. Um, I definitely want to talk about the victim mentality. Um, I definitely, I definitely feel like not every single person, but majority of people on this planet has been in that state of mind before or gone through it or currently in it, whichever. Um, and for me, I really was in denial for the longest that I was a victim to my circumstances because of all the embarrassing things I felt like I did that I didn't want to share or that I was ashamed of, that I did in my past, whatever it was. But I really realized that to be a victim, like I had to be a victim to get to where I am today. And if it wasn't for the old version of me, then I would not be as far as I am in my spiritual journey today. And she deserves that love and that compassion instead of feeling embarrassed or ashamed for what she's done in the past. And I realized that a lot of these, like, a lot of people on the internet will give advice. And if you're not ready to take advice, you're literally just wasting your energy on certain people. And where I am in my life right now, I'm very, very conscious and where I'm putting my energy. So that means if I give you advice and I see that you have no intention of actually applying that to your life, I'm not going to give you advice again. You can't get more advice on top of the advice you never did. A lot of the times people got to realize that people got to be ready for that advice before you give them that advice. But anyway, back to what I was talking about with the victim mentality. So growing up, I had a narcissistic stepfather and I had a mom with low self-esteem. That combo created the version of me that was the victim, right? But instead of me, instead of me, like, so the way I want to talk about it is like, we can't control everything that happens to us, right? But we can control what we do with what happens to us in trauma, right? So when I think about my life from a whole perspective, I think about how my narcissistic stepfather, I became that abuse when he was no longer around. I abused myself by putting myself in toxic situations that I knew wasn't good for me, by talking down to myself, by beating on myself, by saying hurtful things to myself. I was my biggest bully so that when other people would hurt me, it wouldn't hurt that much. And I know, like, that sounds insane, but that's the truth. So for me, I really didn't see myself as a victim because I was the one that was doing the abuse to myself. But when I think about it, I still put myself in that mentality. I still chose that life because that's all that I knew. And it wasn't until I was completely sick of my own shit that I decided to change. And I definitely think that as humans, we need to reach that point where we're completely sick of our shit to be able to actually change. That way, that's why, like, no matter how much you try to talk your friend out of an abusive situation or a toxic situation, they have to want to leave. They have to hit rock bottom. And if somebody doesn't have a rock bottom, then they're going to continue to take the abuse they think they deserve on a subconscious level, right? Anyway, so I want to talk about, like, my experience in the last year. And I never used to be a person that believed in God. I never used to believe in anything, honestly. I used to just think that we were living in a simulation and this was all a joke. I was being punked. Little did I know that I was controlling the narrative, the story. I just could not figure out why I kept abusing myself, putting myself in these situations. Anyway, so I reached a point where I dated a whole bunch of narcissistic people, kept getting abused, and I was like, you know what, like, I'm sick and tired, like, and so I definitely believed, I internalized everything. I believed that no one was gonna love me, and so I decided that I was gonna date this friend that I literally got a sign from the universe that this person wasn't right for me when I started to have, like, a panic attack. But I was just like, because I didn't believe in anything, I was like, stop playing. But it only got worse. It got worser and worser and worser. So lo and behold, that person didn't work out. Like, obviously it did not work out, but it pushed me to the point where I decided that I cannot continue to date narcissistic people. I cannot continue to hope that this person will change for me, or that I'm going to be this alone savior for other people, this savior complex. Where did that come from? You know? So when I reached rock bottom and I decided that, you know what, I'm fucking sick and tired of the bullshit, just of all the bullshit. All of my bullshit, all of everybody else's bullshit, just the bullshit. I finally just decided that I'd rather be alone than to continue to date the people that I kept dating, because I didn't even stop to think that, like, my ideal person would be out there. I was just like, you know, these are the people that are attracted to me, and if these are the people that are attracted to me, I'm tired. Like, I literally could not believe that I was here, like, on this planet. I'm like, why do people love in the way that they do? Why do they hurt people in the way that they do? But I didn't realize that I was the one that was subconsciously attracted to it. Because even if you aren't, like, a narcissist, right? Because you know how they say, like, you attract what you are. Even if you're not a narcissist, you still can attract a narcissist with low self-esteem and having beliefs, like having low self-esteem and not believing that you're worthy of love, right? Narcissistic people eat that up. They love to be able to control you because they can't control their own lives. Anyway, so I decided that I was done with that, and the universe just gave me my soulmate after that. And I was like, no, I'm being punked, because I spent the last 2 years searching for love. And the minute that I decided that, you know what, I'd rather be alone and completely just give up and let go, there it is. So then I started to realize that, like, a lot of things in my life were just too synchronized. Like, every single person that I met was, like, in the past, like, they were just reflections of my deepest insecurities. Like, if I said that, like, okay, maybe I was insecure about my skin tone, because growing up, I grew up in Connecticut, where, that's all I'm gonna say. So, you know, I never used to always find myself attractive, because of, you know, when you grow up, you hear, you believe, you see. And I ended up dating someone that had that didn't want to be seen with me in public because of my skin tone. And I remember just, like, these are, like, low points in my life, guys, like, where I was, like, completely insecure. I just didn't believe that I was beautiful. I didn't believe that I was attractive. And then boom, there comes another person to bring out what I'm feeling on the inside. So every single person that I dated was just like they just kept reaffirming all of my deepest, darkest nightmares. And I was like, what's going on here? What's going on here? And I moved to Vegas and Arizona, and I was like, it was worse when I went to Vegas, because I was like, this is definitely not real. None of this shit is real. What's going on here? Anyway, so I wanted to talk about how I can sit up here and convince you guys of spirituality, God, the universe, all these things, but it's not until you walk with God yourself and choose God that God, the universe, whatever you want to believe in, it's not until you do that for yourself that you will actually experience it. Because when I tell you guys that I never used to believe in God, because I growing up, I hear that, you know, like, if you're gay, if you're all these things, God would not accept you. But humans are the ones that created all these rules, all this judgment. God never said that. God does not treat you in that way. You have to develop your own relationship with God to really just understand. And God is within us. We don't have to go to church for it. We don't have to read a Bible for it. None of those things. Those things are extra. Those things are added, right? If you believe in religion or whatever the hell. But your relationship with God starts with you. It starts with you really just sitting down and being so fucking for real. Like, it wasn't until I was like, you know, I'm so completely tired of my bullshit. I was like, I'm going to commit to myself for 1 year and see where it goes. And God literally took me, and he healed me from the inside out. And I'm continuously healing, right? But it really just takes an act of surrender, completely getting on your knees and saying, you know what, I've had enough. I'm tired. You know, I'm tired of my own shit. I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know how to fix it, because, you know, I always used to think I know everything. And the thing with, when you start your spiritual journey, you really got to humble yourself, because you know nothing. I know nothing. I still know nothing. I continuously just give my life to God, because baby, it wasn't until he put his hands on me that my life got better, and I started glowing. I started feeling happier, looking at myself in the mirror and loving what I see, because he shows me in ways that my beliefs about myself are flawed. And if that's something that you're looking for, I definitely recommend meditation and prayer, right? You don't have to know what to say. You can literally just be like, God, show me what I need to know, help me, guidance. Pray for guidance, pray to your angels, pray to your support team, because we all have that. We all have that on hand. And that's why I definitely want you guys to stop looking outside of yourself for answers, because no one can know what you need. You can go on here and watch a billion tarot readers and none of them will tell you exactly what you need, because you know what you need. So definitely, like, I advise you guys to buy your own oracle cards, buy your own tarot cards, and learn how to do tarot for yourself. Because listen to me, like, even when there was this time where I'm going through a bunch of shit, I'm just like purging this, purging that, purging this, and every tarot reader's telling me, take action, take action, take action. When I pulled my own tarot cards out and did it for myself, what God was actually calling me to do was rest. When I prayed to God and I listened to meditation, all I kept hearing was rest. So this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's very important for you to do it on your own, and to take your own advice, and not to just listen to people on the internet, because everybody is a generalized thing for everybody. So you can't get a specifically tailored message to you unless you sit down with your spirit team and ask yourself what you need. Ask yourself what you need. Even if you don't believe in God, you can sit with yourself and ask yourself what you need, right? What do I need in this moment? And just listen. Just listen. The first thing that comes up, it could be just a hug. Give yourself a fucking hug. But yeah. So what was I talking about? I feel like I lost my train of thought. Damn, that the train of thought just like left my mind. Anyway, so I guess I'll just start back on the victim mentality. So I really just want to say to myself, and to anybody else who may be experiencing this right now, I'm sorry for the judgment that I put on you. I'm sorry for judging you when you didn't know any better, when you were in a lack mentality, a limited mentality. Because if it wasn't for you making those choices, I would not know what other choices I'd rather make. So I had to make the opposite choices to make the better ones. And if not for you, I really would not be here. I would not have learned all those lessons that I did in the past 2 years, in my entire life. All of the experiences that every bad decision that I've made in my entire life, a beautiful lesson came out of it. And I want to thank my past self for that, because now I can apply that to my life. I can have advice to help other people and experiences to help other people, but I would not have had that if I didn't go through that. And some of the things in our life, we can't control what we go through, but we get to choose what we do with that moving forward. So yes, if your mom was a narcissist, or yes, if your dad ran away, didn't come back, those things happen and those are out of your control. But what are you doing with the trauma that came from it? What are you doing with that trauma? Because I really want to tell you guys that even when you're on your spiritual journey, it's not easy. It's so much crying. It's so much crying. It's so much releasing. It's not easy. When you're letting go of a version of you that was so addicted to pain, because eventually you get addicted to pain when you're in a victim mentality, right? It's all that you know. It's comfortable. At least you know what to expect, right? You don't believe that you deserve good things, so it's addicting. It's comfortable. You get addicted to it. Yes, sorry guys, I had to go back and rewatch because I lost my train of thought again. So like I was talking about, everything is a choice. What you do with your life is a choice. You can choose to be a victim. You can choose to be the creator of your reality and raise your vibration and learn all these things. And I'm not saying that it's gonna be easy. If I said it was easy, I'd be lying. I'd be lying. But that's why not everybody does it. It's so much easier to sit with your own bullshit and not really face yourself, right? The ego is the hardest part. My ego was the hardest part for God to mold, but he never stopped. He never stopped. And that's one of the things that I definitely just, like, I understand when they say God loves you unconditionally, because baby, like, I was hanging on to that ego so hard. It's so easy to point the finger at other people when you're not ready to acknowledge your own bullshit, right? But everything is a choice. Like, how do you want to be? Like, if you want to be happy, you have to get up and choose happiness. And when I think about it, like, now that I'm in a different frequency and I've raised my consciousness and I've experienced all these other enlightened shit, it, like, people think that enlightenment, you stay in enlightenment all the time, and that is not true. Yesterday I had the hardest day. And I had to really pull myself out of my environment and completely just isolate. Right now I'm in a park in a city I'm not even sure. Like, I literally just took a drive because that's what I needed. I listened to my body for what I needed. And I could have sat in my sorrows, and yes, I cried because that's what I needed in the moment. But the next day, which is today, I picked myself up and I took myself on a drive, and just to clear my mind, just exactly what I need. So it's going to be a constant choice. It's going to be a choice, because when you spend your entire life in a specific state of mind, it is so easy for you to choose that state of mind again. But you have to be the one to say, you know what, I know where that path leads me. I know where that goes. And it's going to be down the victim mentality road, where everything is woe is me and the world just continues to fuck me. But you can decide that, you know what, I've had enough of that, and you can decide to fuck life back. You know what I mean? You say, you know what, it's a choice. You don't get to tell me how I'm feeling. And that's when you reclaim your power, because nothing in your external world should be able to tell you how to live your life. Not your car breaking down, not your kids cussing you out, whatever things you're going through in your life. Everybody's going through something, but it can't be that you decide that this is what's going to stop you. You've been through hell. You've been through hell and back. Some of you guys have been through hell and back. And I really want you to realize that it is a choice to be happy, and you can choose to be happy, but you have to do the work. You have to come face to face with all of your fears, because you cannot be triggered by someone unless a deep belief is a limited belief or insecure belief or a fear is inside of you that can bring up that trigger. Right? So say for example, if you had high confidence, right, and somebody called you ugly, that would not affect you. But if somebody called you ugly and you had low self-esteem, that would do you all types of crazy. You either get defensive, you get angry. There's so many emotions that person can invoke in you, because that belief is still there. So when you walk with God, you walk with the universe, they focus on those beliefs, those fears, that shadow work, so that when you are out in the world, people cannot trigger you, because you've worked on it. And a lot of the things are repressed, like our repressed emotions, thoughts, feelings about ourselves. It's gonna be the hardest part to really just pull out of you. I'm speaking from experience, guys, because recently I didn't realize that this was a belief that I had about myself that was buried so deep, and I was glossing over it with like pride and thinking that I'm all that, when it truly, I did not believe that. Deeply, I did not believe that. And God knew that. So he worked on me with that shit. And he said, you know what? We're building real confidence. Not that fake shit that they be telling you, oh, just fake confidence until you make it. No, confidence comes from within. How do you feel about yourself? That's why I said, like, you can't just be taking advice from everybody on the internet. You have to literally build your own relationship with God, build your own relationship with the universe, because that's how you're going to grow, and they grow you from the inside out. So it's very important. You're not going to get your manifestations without shadow work, baby. And that shit will have you crying. But you know what? Like, at the end of it all, there's more peace. There is more peace. And for those of you that are still watching, some of you guys have that strength to be able to do it. Some of you guys don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not for everybody. But it's a choice. It's all a choice. It's easy to stay where you are. It's easy to be a victim. It's harder. It takes more courage. It takes more bravery to pull yourself out of your circumstances, to choose better, do better for yourself, make better choices. But every day it's a choice. And the thing is, when on those days when you feel like you're reverting back to your old ways, or you feel low energy, that's when you need yourself the most. That's when you need love and compassion the most. So that's not a time for you to beat yourself up and be like, you know what, after a year you're still here. No, it's just, okay, baby, you're having a hard day, cry about it. I got you. Here's a hug. Let's watch our favorite show. And the next day you pick yourself up and you go, you get up again. It's always that you pick yourself up and you go and you get up again. You don't stay down. The victim mentality will keep you down, but that's also a choice. Everything that you do in your life is a choice. Yeah, so those are my messages, guys. I definitely just want to say that, like, I'm also not judging you for being a victim. I definitely get where that mentality comes from, trauma, all these things. But when you choose to pull yourself out of that unconscious behaving based off of your traumas, but actively just looking at your life through the lens of an observer, when you choose that life, it's not an ending. It doesn't end, but it is a lot more peaceful than being controlled by every single thing. I don't know about you guys, but I no longer want to be controlled by nothing. Nobody. I've always hated rules. I've always hated anybody telling me what to do. Makes me want to go, you say left, I'll go right. Like, I hated that. So for the first time in my life, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for all the shit that I've overcome, all the decisions that I've made leading up to now, because I needed to make those decisions to know what I do not want, what I will not tolerate. And who I am today, I could not be who I am today without all of those mistakes. So it's never too late to start. You could be 50, you could be 60. It just, when you decide to start, then it's not going to be tomorrow. It should always be today. So yeah, those are my messages, guys. Have a good day.